Hi guys. Right guys, welcome back to another SMMA live Q&A. If you're new to the lives, these happen every single Monday at 5 p.m. UK time. Sorry about the voice. I've had a cold for like 2 weeks. I want to crack through lots of the questions in the chat. Hope everyone's had an amazing weekend. If you're watching it on live, hope you've had an amazing day. Usually what I like to do on these is run through a topic very briefly for like 5-10 minutes. Then I jump into the questions. But if you have any questions, guys, pile them into the chat and then I'm just going to go through them. So the earlier you put them in, the quicker I'll get them answered. But hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's, like I say, had a smashing weekend. But the first thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to keep this quite brief. I'm not going to ramble on like I did last week, is the 3 steps of scaling your SMMA to 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, whatever it is. And because there's 3 very clear processes, or steps in the process, I should say. Step 1 is figuring out, guys, how you're going to book meetings at scale. And this is kind of what I talk about on all of these lives, and because I want to get the message across so well. And I know that due to the questions that I get asked, it's all to do with this in terms of how quickly can I make XYZ cash? How quickly can I get my agency to XYZ? And these 3 steps explain it all. So step 1 is, how efficient are you at booking meetings? You absolutely have to build a system in your agency. This is the first thing you need to do after learning your service, is how can I have a consistent amount of meetings every single day, every single week, every single month? And what I mean by that is, do you at the beginning of the week, see your calendar? It doesn't have to be filled. You don't have to have 20 meetings, 3 meetings a day, whatever it is. You just need several meetings every single week, whether it's 1 to 3 meetings a week, even to start with. That's step 1 of what you need to do. You need to build systems and infrastructures around how you can fill your calendar with people that are going to listen to your pitch. That's step 1. So whether that be LinkedIn, Instagram DMs, I'd recommend cold calling because that's going to get you there the fastest. But building a system, whether you're doing it yourself, which I'd recommend you doing, and having that stream of people booking in meetings with you to pitch to. That's step 1, because if you don't have that set, the next steps don't matter. Step 2 is what you're actually going to be selling them and how to actually close them. And so, it's all well and good you booking all of these meetings, but if they're not taking you seriously, they're turning up to the meeting thinking that they were turning up to something else, which is very common with SMMA sales calls, is you'll book loads of meetings and then they'll think they were showing up to something completely different to what you're actually going to tell them, because you just want to book a meeting. And we've had sales guys in the past where they've absolutely smashed the cold calling because they booked 1 to 2 meetings every single day. However, when we sat those meetings, people were expecting a free social media content audit. Someone was expecting a website audit, and it was just a shambles. And that was because the person who we were paying to do the cold calls for us, even though they'd gone through all the training, he didn't understand the service. He didn't really understand what our offer was. And people were just booking calls with him because he was a nice person. So you need to book meetings, but you need to make sure they understand, they're quality meetings, whereas they understand what they're actually showing up to. If they show up to this meeting, they're going to get an unbelievable amount of advice. They're going to, they're going to be not necessarily pitched, because you don't want to, you're going to talk to them about the partnership, that's the partnership potential, but you don't want to just say you're going to get pitched. You're going to take them through a strategy session that if they want to just use your strategy and go off elsewhere, they can. So step 1, have a pipeline of loads of meetings. Stage 2, have a meeting strategy that is actually going to work and know how to close clients. And then step 3 is how to get them amazing results. So it all starts, as you can see, that all starts with step 1 is how efficient are you at booking meetings? It doesn't matter if you can run, Facebook ads to the nth degree and just, have an amazing Facebook ad strategy and your funnel design's amazing, your email marketing's incredible. If you can't book meetings, then that's worthless, because you're not going to be able to do it for anyone. And then it's all well and good you having an amazing strategy and you can book meetings, but if you can't close and build relationships and the sales aspect of it, you're also doomed. So they're the 3 stages of what's super important to get your agency to where it is. But that's kind of my opening kind of monologue to just spark conversation. And I also think it's really important, because I can see a lot of questions here. It's usually the same questions each week, where it's like, how can I get to here? What do I need to do to get to here? And that's it. You need to just focus purely on how to book meetings. And in the academy, I talk all the time about focus on your time at the beginning on money-making tasks and money-making tasks only. For example, spending 2 days on a website or making your onboarding email really pretty and nice. That's not a money-making task. A money-making task is making 50 cold calls every day or building your LinkedIn outreach strategy, whatever it is. So yeah, hopefully that kind of sparks some thought. But yeah, I'll get into these questions. Hi Tom. I'm Harry Luke. I don't know whether you think I'm Tom. Love your content. Starting an SMMA through school program with an 8-member team, 4 advisors, 10, I'm assuming million insurance and school support. Already built internal tools. Any recommendations? Thinking of the martial arts and landscaping niches due to my background, what would your advice be in contacting companies at the start of your agency when working? I think lots of people suggest martial arts industries to me, and I don't know too much about it. I don't know whether that's high ticket. I don't know what really products and services you're selling. I don't know, so I can't really comment on that. That's not something we have in our Academy 99 niches list, but landscaping 100% is. And the benefit of landscaping is, I would say landscaping is actually a beginner-friendly niche, because you don't need a massive brand to sign them. You can contact the decision makers through cold calling, so you don't need to get around gatekeepers, which is a more advanced skill. And yeah, I think landscape is a good niche. But for any advice, it would be pick up the phone and cold call them, because they're all got their personal mobiles somewhere on their Google listing, whether it be in the reviews, which is a tip Tom did a video on. We talk about it in the academy, especially for landscapers. If you want to find the decision maker, the business owner, and their phone number, go to their Google listing, go to their reviews, and it will always say Tim was amazing, the owner. So you can find the business owner there, and there's usually mobile numbers for landscapers all about the shop. So it's a good niche to go after. Trino, how do you get one-to-one support with Facebook for help on technical issues? Very difficult to do. It depends what the technical issue is. Yeah, if it's in terms of like ad account stuff, you can do the help chat, and there is actually a chat now. Facebook do have a chat, but it's not very good. Technical issues, that's what the academy is super good for, if I'm being brutally honest, mate, which is on a Black Friday discount. If anyone's interested, massive 40% off, and you get access to the 3.0, which is coming out in December. But the benefit of that is, like, any technical like stuff you need, which is in our control, like any back end stuff that Facebook have to sort, like, I don't know, restricted personal access to advertising, whatever, we can't really help you with. We can put you right in the right channels to get it sorted. But yeah, it really depends what that technical support looks like. When pitching services to prospects, your most common objection is, I can get it cheaper elsewhere. What's the best objection handle? I have never got this objection in 5 years of running my agency. Not once have I ever got that objection. And that's because, and you'll only be getting that because you're not differentiating what you're offering in comparison to everyone else. You will get that because they're just seeing you as another person that runs Facebook ads. Whereas what you need to do is pitch your Facebook ads and your strategy as if no one else can do it. You need to put so much doubt in their mind that you're the only person that can implement this strategy. Because, and the way I do that is say something like, right, my grandma could run a Facebook ad. My grandma could get a landing page up. All of the proposals you're going to see from marketing agencies on paper are going to look the same. However, what we do is, to the highest level, we've got the case studies and testimonials to back it up. If you don't have that, you don't need to say that, but just say what we do is very specialist. No other agency is doing it, because it's a strategy that we've adapted ourselves. Your individual strategy that you implement on Facebook and Instagram is unique to your agency. Yes, because then they wouldn't say that, because you can't get that cheaper elsewhere, because that product is only unique to you. So the problem there is, you're not making your services seem unique to you. You're just almost like, to them, you're just another person who's going to get a Facebook ad up or resell Go High Level, which is stupid. So yeah, it's not so much how can you handle that objection, it's how can you stop getting that objection in general. Because if you do get that objection, you've already lost, because we would never get that. How do you find clients who are willing to spend money on marketing and are not penny pinchers? So I actually did a video on this, guys. We got probably 6 months ago, we got a referral from someone in the academy. So someone in the academy had a meeting with someone. He was a real estate. I can't remember. I think he was a realtor. He sold houses in Marbella and somewhere. I think it was like the Costa del Sol, and the academy member basically had a meeting with him, pitched him his Facebook ad services, his sales funnel creation, branding, all the good stuff, and said he was £1,000 a month. That client said he's too expensive. It's too expensive. I can't afford £1,000 a month. He then passed that lead on to us and said, actually, Harry, thinking about it, I'm not that experienced in that industry. Do you want to have a go at pitching him? And I said, yeah, I'll give it a go. And we got on a call with him. We quoted 2.5, and he was willing to pay us 2.5, but he said it was too expensive for him. So when people say they can't afford you, when people say something's too expensive, it's not that it's too expensive. It's they don't see the value in it. If they saw the value in it, then it's not too expensive. The same way if someone said, right, you can have this Lamborghini for 10 grand, that's not too expensive. But if you said 10 grand for a car with a wheel missing and it's rusted everywhere, you'd be like, no, that's too expensive. So it's a value, it's a value, not shift. There's a disproportionate for price and value, is that it's not too expensive. It's too expensive for the value you've given. So your issue there is, if you're finding that people are just penny pinching, it's potentially you're going after the wrong people. Yes, that's if you're going after the complete wrong people, like if you're going after freelance people or PTs that earn £1,000 a year and you're trying to pitch 2.5 grand a month services. Sorry, if someone makes £1,000 a year and you're pitching £2,500 a month in services, that's obviously that client's just not right for you. So you need to make sure they're suited. You can do that by looking at their company size. You can ask them in the qualifying meeting or in a discovery session what their current revenue markers are. And then you can decide whether you want to progress. But really, once you get that right, and that's something that you can figure out when you're prospecting, like don't even contact leads unless they hit certain criteria, which we go through in the academy, how to qualify leads before you call them so you don't have this issue. But really, if you're finding that you're constantly finding penny pinchers, even though they're big companies, that will be because you're not portraying enough value. My job timetable is very unique. I'm lucky to have 1 to 2 hours between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. to cold call every weekday, and then spend another 1 hour in the evening on service delivery. So that's 3 hours a day. Then I can spend on my SMMA. With these timings, I'm 30 to 50 cold calls a day, getting the academy course and really learning the service delivery. Is it realistically and possible that I can make £4,000 a month? Yes, absolutely. Because really 30 to 50 calls a day, if you're building that lead list beforehand, you can get through that in probably an hour. Maybe. But maybe, I don't know. Depends how many people answer. But yeah, between 1 and 2 hours. And then your service delivery in the evenings, yeah, you might be pushing it. You might have to find some space somewhere. Like you might have to get up earlier before 9 and do your service delivery, because there's going to have to be a time in there where you're actually doing the meetings. And people are going to ask for meetings at very specific times. So you'll just have to work that out. But apart from the time issue, yeah, it's very easy you can very doable get to £4 grand a month. You just need to find the time to actually do the sales meetings, because that's gonna take up some time. Trevor Tilroy, I am currently on Universal Credit. Is it possible? Universal Credit, for anyone who doesn't know, is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like a government scheme to help people on low income, I believe. Is it possible to start SMMA while still being on Universal Credit? It pays me £300 a month and extra for rent. Basically, do I have to declare my earnings to HMRC? Yeah, you have to declare your earnings. I don't know the impact on Universal Credit. I don't know whether you only get that if you're unemployed. I don't know. But whatever income you are earning for your business, you will have to declare to HMRC. Yeah. Louise, if I just consistently smash 30 to 50 cold calls a day and through the academy become good at them and good at closing, roughly how often should I be signing a client? So Louise, we did a video, the last live stream was on it, and we're doing, I keep saying, hopefully it's going to come out this week. It's an 1.5-hour video with Carl, who is our lead salesperson, who had over $10,000 in recurring revenue last month to the agency, all through cold calling. And in that video, I explain how it all funnels down, kind of like what I spoke about at the beginning of this call. Was it all funnels from how many meetings you book, and then what your conversion rates are from meeting, from cold call to meeting to close. So our conversion rates, so we have a 65% show rate. So for every 100 meetings that we book, we no, let me do this at bigger figures. For every 1,000 cold calls we make, we book 4%. So that's 40 meetings. 1,000 cold calls, 40 meetings, 65% of those, 65 to 75% of those show up. So what's that? 75% of 40, 28. So we'll sit 28 of those meetings, and then really we'll close probably from the cold calling channel, probably 40%. So 40% of 28, you do the maths. So really you just need to figure out what your conversion rates are, and then kind of extrapolate back. But really, 30 to 50 cold calls a day, even if your conversion rates are really poor, you should be able to close a client in the first month if your skills are good enough. Hopefully that answers that question. I'm a beginner and my aim is to make $4,000 a month consistently. How many clients would that be? All depends on what you're charging. As a beginner, you're probably going to be charging between $750 and $1,000. So that'll probably be 4 to 5 clients, maybe. I plan on getting the academy next week, all of December going over the course, and then 1st of Jan begin 30 to 50 cold calls a day. Realistically, how long would it take me to get to 4K a month and sustain? All depends on how good you are at cold calls, mate. It's different for everyone. Like if you're a really personable and communicate really well, then you're going to smash cold calling. If you're not, and you need to learn that through doing more calls and sales calls, then it's going to take you a bit longer. But yeah, like I said, I just mentioned the statistics there. You just need to extrapolate, and the only way you're going to find out is by getting started and look at what your meeting booking rate is, what your show rate is. But through the academy, your show rate will be around 65 to 75% because you just copy and paste all of the automations we have for the agency. So yeah, I don't see why in 3 to 4 months you're not smashing that $4,000 a month for marketing and sustaining it. But obviously there's just learning. It completely depends on everyone's so different. I don't need to keep saying the same thing. Once I get to my goal of around 4 to 5 grand a month, how hard is it to keep that income consistent over the period of 2 to 3 years? But it's difficult, mate. Like sustaining a business is fucking different, especially at that level. And like people on YouTube like forget that 5 grand a month is a fucking lot of money to a lot of people, and that is like it's a healthy business. It really is. So over a 2 to 3 year period, your service delivery and what works and changes massively. Like when I started 5 years ago, SMMA, what it is today, is practically unrecognizable. Like I could just get a simple stock image ad up of an e-commerce brand and make tens of thousands of pounds for a client, whereas I can't now. So if you're keeping up to date with the newest trends, which is why the academy is so important, is because we give you those up-to-date trends and keep you on the straight and narrow, then you will, but you do have to adapt. If you're getting into SMMA thinking you're just going to set it up now and in 2 years it's still going to be producing the same thing, doing the same strategy, you're completely wrong. And that comes down to the outreach as well. Like the way we're currently doing cold calls isn't going to work in 6 months' time because it's going to get rinsed, more people are going to do it, and then you just have to change it. So yeah, it's not necessarily you just need to make sure that you're keeping up to date with the strategies, and you'll stay there. For Academy members, how much personal help do you give them? For example, looking over sales pitch, evaluate their cold calls, look over their ads, and their service delivery. So Louise, whenever you want. So really, this is like an add-on to the academy that we don't charge for. It's just whenever someone needs it. Essentially, what we do is we get you to film a Loom video, and then there's a specific place that you submit these Loom videos, and Tom and I personally look over them. So if you're just launched an ad campaign, we'll get you to do a Loom video, share your screen, go through the ad sets, the campaign, all of the ads, the copy, show us the landing pages, the automations, or on the other hand, like you said, filming a cold calling session. So we'll get you to film 5 or 6 of your cold calls, send them to us, and we'll give you feedback on it. So really, whenever you want, it's just something that you can use. You said SMMA owners must offer ads, sales funnels, emails, SMS. Is that a lot of work? Is it possible to make around 4 grand a month doing that and have a full-time job and doing SMMA for 2 hours a day? Yeah, 100% it is. You can have 3 or 4 clients 2 hours a day very easily. And it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work on the front end to set it all up. So once your landing page is created, your SMS awesome automations, your email automations, all you've got to do is keep the ads up to date. So they're seeing a stream of high converting traffic to that landing page. But you can 100% do that in 2 hours a day. Yeah. $30 a day ad budget e-commerce. What you're doing? No idea, mate. Need way more information of that. What the product is? Yeah, I need way more information on that. Aaron, guys, if you have the budget but are skeptical about the academy, just take the leap of faith. I bought it today and it's the best purchase of my life. Love that, Aaron, mate. Yeah, I did see that you bought it today. You messaged me on Instagram. You heard it from the man himself. Hi, Tristan. Hope you're well, mate. Charlie, how do you plan to adapt and ensure the long-term success of your agency in an industry where what works today might not work tomorrow? It's a good question, mate. Really, by ensuring that we're always the best at what we do, and like we can tell that by the sales calls we get on. If we were ever to get on a sales call and we felt out of depth, we'd be like, shit, there's a problem here. And it's just constantly adapting. Like I binge watch content on YouTube, even from the shit people that I talk about the agency in the really like the most horrendous way possible, because I need to know that stuff. And I actually use that stuff in the sales calls. Like I'll use the fact that there's an underworld of shitty agencies out there, and I'll talk about that on the sales calls to help elevate our brand, if that makes sense. And I think it's so important to understand what's going on, because that does affect you. Like, even though you position yourself as a top end brand, a luxury agency, or luxury, whatever you are, you still need to understand what the competitors, even though they're not a good option, what they're talking about. For example, even though we don't offer Go High Level, we need to know that there's agencies out there reselling Go High Level as a SaaS product, because that impacts us, because that's an alternative. So it's understanding what alternatives are out there and just making sure that you position yourself very far against them. And I think that's the same on any industry. The easiest and best way you can sell a product or your service is by making the gap between you and the alternatives as big as possible, and just putting fear into your potential customer that if they don't choose you, that's not a good route for them. So I think I don't know whether that answers your question, if I'm being really honest, mate, but just making sure that you're always the best at what you do. You're always the most knowledgeable at what you do, so you can just tackle any diversity that comes your way or any question. Oh, I don't know whether I've answered that question well or not at all. Let me know if I didn't answer that well, guys. Abdul, hi Harry, I'm struggling with my show up rate. I book 2 to 3 meetings verbally a day, but they never end up filling in the Calendly link. Any help? They don't need to be filling in the Calendly link, mate. You just fill the Calendly link in for them. So when you're on the call and they say, right, yeah, Harry, I want to call tomorrow at 3 p.m., you book them in on Calendly so they get the Zoom link. You don't need them to book themselves in. You just book them in for them. So that's what we do. Our callers will ring all the clients. Someone will book him for Thursday at 6. He goes on to Go High Level, books him in on our calendar. They then get the Zoom link. They get information about the company. They get all the automated reminders in the lead up to the meeting. So we're not relying on them to book themselves in, because they won't. So you just book them in and you just agree to them on the phone and say, right, you're going to receive a Zoom link in 30 seconds. Accept it on Google so it's in your calendar. So you don't need to rely on them to do it. I don't have GHL at the moment. How should I sell the service so that I get paid first and then set up their landing page and other automation? Also, what are your thoughts on instant lead forms? How should I sell the service so I get paid up front? So most agencies get paid up front, guys. Like we, as an agency, we get paid up front for every client that we work with. So you don't have to do anything fancy. You just say, we get paid up front. You pay at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month. That's all you need to do. Thoughts on instant lead forms, great for getting quantity leads. Quality leads, not so good. Even you're going to get people on here going, well, you can do these disqualifying things on lead forms. Yes, you can, but it still doesn't compete. And we've tested this with thousands of dollars of our clients' money, that sales funnels just perform way better. It's just as simple as that. You can have way more information. You can increase the quality of leads because of how you can brand a funnel, positions you as such a more luxury brand. So yeah. Alvin, hi Harry. I'm in the academy and doing around 100 dials and about 50 cold calls, and I find it really hard to keep the prospect on the call, and it feels like I sound too much like the others. Any tips? Yeah, mate, Alvin, we've been going back and forth on Instagram. It's your delivery. It's how you're delivering the calls. It's not what you're saying. What you're saying is perfect. It's how you're delivering it. And that's just gonna come with practice, unfortunately, mate. And you're gonna have to. We're adding probably 15 more recorded cold calls of booked meetings to the academy very shortly. That's coming out in 3.0, which you're going to get, all the academy members in here are going to get access to. Also, some more cold calling trainings being added. But Alvin, in your case, it is your delivery, and you're just going to have to work on how to deliver it with more conviction, more authority, and a bit clearer, because I don't think people can understand, if I'm being brutally honest, some of the things that you say. But Alvin, there's an academy call in 35 minutes. So hop on there and we can dive into it in more detail. Luke, if you're under 18, how would you advise setting up Facebook for managing clients' ad accounts? Do you need an account of someone over 18? Purchasing the academy ASAP. Love that, Luke. I don't know the rules of it being under 18. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think you have to be over 18. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have a lot of experience in this because most of the academy members are over 18, and I can't remember what I did. I did dropshipping before. I don't think, unless the rules have changed, because I definitely did my Facebook ad dropshipping from my personal profile. I'm fairly sure. I don't know. You'll have to just Google that one, mate. I can't answer that. Yeah, I can't answer that. Jake Cumro, I can vouch for the support you get in the academy. As a member myself, I've directly messaged both Tom and Harry with questions for support, and they're there for you when needed. Love that, Jake. Yeah, hopefully you're going to be on the call in 35 and we can have a good catch up. In fact, I have pepped Harry with voice notes and questions. I love peppered Harry with voice notes and questions. Love that, mate. Yeah, that's the best way. If anyone's worrying about the support in the academy, that's essentially what I prefer to do. Obviously, you've got the live calls. You've got the Discord, but you also get flagged in my Instagram DMs. Loads of academy members have my WhatsApp as well, so I do get rinsed with questions. But rather than getting on one-to-one calls all the time, which is just not feasible at I don't have enough time to get on calls with my clients, let alone all academy members. But what I do have time to do in between meetings is go back and forth on voice notes. So for Jake, we have an ongoing voice note thread, and that's not I reply the same day. But we'll just ping voice notes back and forth. So we'll be just having an ongoing conversation throughout your whole agency career, where you'll just ping me a voice note saying, Harry, got a meeting tomorrow, any advice? Or done this, got this ad up, got this click-through rate. Can you give me any advice? He'll just ping me a voice note. And then in between a meeting, I'll just ping another voice note back. Because you're flagged, I filter my inbox from my flagged messages. So my inbox is basically only academy members, which is why they get an instant response in comparison to everyone else who messages me. So that's how it works, and it works really well. Abdul, on Calendly, I ask questions such as monthly revenue, how much clients you can handle. So do I think I should scrap that? Yeah, you ask that on the discovery call at the beginning of the meeting. You can have that on things like your website, but when you're booking for a cold call, ask them that on the cold call and just get the information there and then. There's no point in saying, right now I need you to go fill out a 5-step form to book a meeting, because everyone's just going to be like, I don't need this shit. I've got shit to do. I've got to leave now. I've got to go pick up my kids from school or get on a meeting. No one's gonna have time to do that. So just wait till the meeting, and then just when you're starting your presentation, just say, oh, what's your revenue at? That's what we do. We just ask those. That's what the discovery session of the meeting is so important. Is you book them through a cold call. They show up to the meeting on Zoom. You've got your presentation sorted, but before you build rapport, you build a relationship, you ask them those types of questions to get them to identify pain points within their business, and then you give them the solution through your presentation. It doesn't need to be a massive Calendly link and a form and all that shit. James, would you say flooring companies would be a great niche because it's high ticket and not very targeted home improvement niche, unlike bathroom remodeling? Yeah, it's a great niche, mate. So that's all I can really say that. Tristan, looking into 2024, what do you think the biggest change the biggest change is going to be in the SMMA industry? I think the offers that people are doing, I'm going to sign 15, I'm going to bring you 15 high paying clients or your money back, and I'm going to send you $3,000. That's going to go out the window. Those people are going to look very, very fucking silly in 2024, I believe, because I can't remember last time I got on a sales call And that's what someone wanted to hear, especially after I said how ridiculous those people sound. I think that's going to go out the window. I think all of these snidey, shitty tactics to sign clients in a really shitty way, like, I don't want to go into it, but I think it's going to hopefully going to become a more ethical industry. And the reason for that is I think there's going to be a new side hustle, which is going to take loads of people's attention. People are then going to say SMMA is dead, we're going to do this instead. And when it's not, it's just they failed at SMMA. Now they're going on to this new business model. And I think the SMMA industry is going to thrive even more for those that actually have a good business and an actual good service. I think the ads that work and the outreach strategies that work are going to change massively, like they have over the past 6 months. Like the type of ads that work, you don't want loads of text on it. You want it really organic. You want the ad to not look like an ad with UGC content. That wasn't like it, this time last year. That wasn't as present as it is now. So I think those little details will change, and the people that don't have the ability to change with the times will fail, and the people that do will succeed. And I think, and that's the same with outreach. I think outreach always happens in cycles, but there's always an undertone, an undercurrent of what an outreach strategy that always works, which is cold calling. There might be, I think Instagram DMs are getting fucking rinsed at the minute. I've never got more messages in my Instagrams of people saying, Harry, are you doing anything with email right now? Harry, do you need a video editor? And it's all the same shit. And I think Instagram DMs as an outreach is just going to become practically impossible to do because of just the sheer quantity of what's happening. Which is why I always lead back to cold calling, because it's the easiest and fastest way to differentiate yourself. If you can communicate well and you can get someone on the phone, it's so easy to make you stand out from the 50,000 other people that are trying to win that business for a social media marketing agency client, because those people can't speak, they can't speak and communicate and build relationships with people. It's the number one skill. If you can build a relationship and communicate properly, you're going to clean up. And that's why that's the only reason why you would fail cold calling, if you have the correct scripts and you're following it, is that your communication skills just aren't good enough. If you're monotone, if you're not enthusiastic, if you can't put energy into your voice, if you're not knowledgeable and passionate, no one's going to want to work with you. So it's not what you're saying, it's more importantly how you're saying it. If you can build that relationship with them, then it's game over. You'll just clean up. Great. Yeah, great, Tristan. Right. Academy member, having success with cold calls, but building the lead list is taking me longer than getting through the 30 to 40 calls with prospects. Is there a method of speeding up the lead list? So what are you currently doing, mate? I think D7 Lead Finder is good, but it's, in terms of lead quality, it's not great. Try Lead Gorilla. Lead Gorilla is really, really good. It's just a D7 Lead Finder equivalent. I would do that. It depends what you're doing. It shouldn't be taking you that long. It depends if you're trying to qualify every lead. And what most people do, and this is something that I've learned massively from Carl, who's the new salesperson in the agency, is that we've had loads of different salespeople before, and we have loads of different salespeople now, but Carl is like head of our sales department at the agency. And what he's so passionate on is the callers not spending 15 minutes researching the business before they call. And that's what we've experienced in the past. And it's what I've actually advised doing in the past. And I've changed my mind on it massively is, yes, you need to look at the web. You need to have the website up. But really, having the website up while you're on the call, you can kind of get that information. But if you're spending like 10 to 15 minutes finding out all the different business owners' names, finding out the services, their prices, looking at their social pages, all that stuff before you call them just for them to not pick up, you're wasting a massive amount of time there. So it depends what you're doing. If you're still on the call, mate, just let me know what you're doing. Do you need a website right away? But see, that's another thing that my opinions changed on. When I first, probably like 3 or 4 years ago, I was very adamant that you don't need a website right away. But now I think you do need a website right away just to build credibility due to the amount of like cowboy SMMAs that are now launching. You need to look legit. That being said, don't spend months and months and months making a website look amazing for no one to see it for months on end. So just get a website up, make it look half decent, have the information on there. But really, the only way to make your SMMA website stand out is by testimonials and case studies. Like having a website that just says, I do Facebook ads, I do sales funnels. It's the same as everyone else's agency. So just keep that in mind. In that, if you don't have those case studies and testimonials, it's going to be quite difficult for your agency website to look good. That being said, you can do things like building your own case studies and testimonials, showcase the quality of your ads, have an ad library of different niches to showcase what you can do. That's super useful. How do we maintain momentum between the discovery call and the strategy call? Once a client has booked a meeting, should I send over the information to run them up to speed? Thank you so much for existing, by the way. Okay, mate. So this is a very common question. People get very confused with the difference between a discovery call and a strategy call. They're the same thing. So this is the process. You'll ring a business and pitch them the meeting and say, right, if you want to learn more about what we do, this is what we do from a headline level. We can run you through next week or tomorrow exactly what we do. They go, yes, amazing. Send over the link. So once you get off that call, you'll then send them the Zoom link. They'll accept the Zoom link on their Google Calendar. They'll go through the automations of, you can send them a reminder an hour before, 24 hours before. You can also send them information about your brand. So a link to the website so they can get up to speed with what your brand's really about in their own time. And that's to the extent of it. And on that cold call, there is a little bit of an element of the discovery call there. And when I say discovery call, guys, all I mean is you're just asking them probing questions to find out where their pain points are. So you can do a little bit of that on the initial cold call if there's time and if they're willing to. But when you get them on a Zoom call, you're going to have that, your presentation ready. And that presentation is merely a guide to a conversation. It's not, right, sit down and I'm going to pitch my services to you. It's just having this presentation to help guide through a conversation. But before you do that, when you first get on a Zoom call, you'll be like, oh, how are you? How are things? Talk us through business. Get to know them a little bit for like 10, 15 minutes. Not that long, 5-10 minutes. And then in that 10 to 15 minute period, just ask them some questions. Say, oh, how's business in a minute? What products and services do you want to push? What marketing have you done in the past? That's the discovery session. So it's not a completely separate call. It's just, it's just a discovery section of the meeting where you're asking them loads of questions, getting their revenue figures, what marketing they've done in the past, do they have an ad spend currently, what their landing pages is like. And in the academy, which is 40% off for anyone who's wondering, we give you a full discovery session list of like what questions you need to ask. So you ask those questions, then you say, right, that gives me loads of information. Thank you for kind of opening up. If you don't mind, I'd love to run you through, a very headline presentation of just outlining of what our strategy is, how we get amazing results for other clients. And I can share my screen very quickly. Then you go into the presentation and you talk them through what your strategy is. And then that's how you display your value to them. And then at the end, you close them. What usually happens is you'll then need to book another meeting. So you will then, you might be able to close them on one call, but 8 times out of 10, you're going to need another call. So then you give them the price on the call. That's what you need to do. Don't wait until after the call and send them the price, because then that's another objection you have to handle. You want to handle price on that first call, which is so important. So then they know the price. Then they're probably going to need a bit of time to think about it. At the end of that call, you then book another call for 3 to 4 days time. Don't say, right, well, thank you for showing up. I'll get back in touch to book a call. No, if they want to book a call, they need to book it on that time and send them the Zoom link on that call. So then your follow-up call is already scheduled in. And then on that second call is when you close them. They bring any more objections that they've had. They'll probably get other shareholders on, and then you close them on the second call. That's typically how a 2-call close works. And that's what we do at the agency. Some people like a 1-call close where you do it on the first call, but it's a bit for our style. It doesn't work. It's a bit pushy, but that works for us. Hopefully that answers your question. So he's using D7 Lead Finder, Google Search, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Yeah, try Lead Gorilla, and that's another lead sourcing form. But it also depends on what you're doing before. Like, what's taking the most time? Is it finding these leads on Lead Gorilla because that's just a simple search and you get a massive list, or is it you researching before you call them? Case studies and testimonials are very important, I would say. Absolutely. Samad, hi mate, I want to start an SMMA. Can you help me out? Samad, I don't know whether that's you've been speaking to me on Instagram and you're joining the academy next week. I don't know. Thomas, hi Harry, do you have any opinions on X LinkedIn ads for certain niches? I've never tried X ads or Twitter ads. I've tried LinkedIn ads before for a few clients. It is quite expensive. We've in the past found, and we do this for a few clients currently actually, is putting an appointment setter on their LinkedIn rather than paying for LinkedIn ads. So we'll get them set up on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. We'll get an appointment setter to go through and just DM the businesses that they want using LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It's a way better response than ads, but it's your call. Best tips for outreach: do cold calling. It's just going to save you so much time, get you to where you need to be the quickest. A lot of owners say they are booked out. Is there any way of overcoming that objection? Yeah, so one way I like to handle that objection is you might be booked up, but are you booked up with the type of clients that you want to be working with? For example, if you're working with a day spa, they'll say that they're fully booked with massages, but a massage is $70, $150. What if you could be booked up with a $400 an hour treatment instead of a $150 an hour treatment? Or how about in 6 months' time, you put your prices up because you're so far in demand and your brand's grown that you can now charge double the money? So it's more what you can do for their brand rather than on paper, they're booked up, if that makes sense. Once we start an SMMA and we have a few clients, do you recommend outsourcing? No, definitely not. There's loads of videos on this channel where I speak massively against outsourcing. What you need to do is launch your agency, get it to around £7,000 to £8,000 a month on your own. That's like 4 or 5 clients. And then once you get to that point, you then want to hire people in-house to work with you. If you're outsourcing, you have no control on quality, and it's just a nightmare. Right, what have we got here? How different is LinkedIn ads to Facebook and Instagram ads? It's not that different. It's the same way like the TikTok ad manager is very, very similar to the Facebook ad manager. In terms of how it looks, it's similar. It's just the placements are different. But it's just more expensive because there's not the demands, the supply doesn't match the demand. Hi Harry, I have a meeting coming this Friday. Should I show them the funnel I'll be using for their Facebook ads? 100%. Like we do it on all of our clients. We show them an example of the type of funnel that we've done for another client in their industry and show them through the exact process to be able to put them in their shoes. So yeah, the only reason why they wouldn't sign with you is they don't understand 100% how your strategy is actually going to get them results. Once they understand that, it's like 1 + 1 = 2. You can't argue with that. So yes, 100%. What clients do you work with, bro? What type of agency do you have? So we have clients in all industries. We've got massive proportion in the info product space, so online courses. We've got med spas, dental practices, really any client you can think of in the cosmetic industry, as well as some e-commerce clients. So we're quite varied, but we started in the cosmetic practice industry, so dental practices, hair transplant clinics, and that's kind of carried through today. But our most high ticket clients are the info product clients, where we're charging like $7,000 to $8,000 a month. And that's just because we make them so much more money and it's a lot more scalable. Whereas like your local dental practice or your hair transplant clinic, there's only once they get to a point, it's harder to scale unless they open more practices. So it's harder to charge them more. But yeah, our courses, we charge the most. That's the only industry that we have a performance-based fee. So we've got like 5%. So we'll charge a retainer. We always charge a retainer, but then we also have a performance-based fee. So we'll charge 5% of the revenue, which is a contract we've just renewed with one of our clients. We were on a £1,500 a month contract for 4 months. The 4 month ended. They renewed for a 12-month agreement at 2.5 a month with plus 5% revenue. So this month we're looking at probably in total $4,000 for that client. And for the last 4 months, they've only been 1,500. But that's what we do, guys. That's like we get them on a 4 month, prove ourselves, and then they're like, shit, I do not want to lose Tom and Harry because they bring in 60 grand a month of revenue. Then that's how we get the performance based. But we would never go with a performance based right from the get go until we proved ourselves. Hi Harry, do you use GHL for your own agency CRM? If so, how? Yes, we do. We've used Pipedrive in the past also. In terms of how we just our Carl and our sales team and who Carl manages does all of the calling through Go High Level. Then we've got the pipelines and just use it's quite self-explanatory really. Go High Level has a CRM system in it and we just use that. Yes, appreciate that. I have been overqualifying them using DirectGov to find owner's name I'll shorten the process. Yeah, that's all it is, mate. Because really, what you don't want to do is spend 15 minutes qualifying each lead to the nth degree, and then 10 of them don't answer, and you've just wasted like an hour. Like, you just need to just get the website up, find their name, and then just go from there. You can figure out the rest while you're on the call. Twinu, how do you know which platforms are the best for each niche? That's really, it's just, you just have to kind of analyze the platform, do some research in what competitors are advertising in each platform. So go to the ad library on Facebook, TikTok, Google, and figure out where the high-end competitors of like the leading brands in the industry are advertising, and that will tell you where they're getting the best return on their ad spend. But it's quite self-explanatory, really. Like, you would never advertise I don't know, like an e-commerce brand for 18 to 29-year-old girls. You're going to advertise on TikTok. Whereas if you're a landscaper and you're targeting homeowners, you want to like Facebook and Instagram is going to be a really good place. But so is TikTok. Like, you just have to figure out what's best for your brand, and that's just being educated on social media. Really, that just comes with time. Cool. So how do you hire an in-house team, as that's more difficult than using something like Upwork and Fiverr? Yeah, it is more difficult, but that's what comes with having a good brand. If you're just signing clients and then giving them to John over there, who you've done no qualifying, they're not in your business, you have no idea if they're keeping up to date with the strategies, your brand's just going to fall flat on its ass. So hiring people in-house is a lot more difficult. Hiring, if anyone's ever scaled a business past 25 grand a month, it's fucking hard to do. Finding people that work hard in your business is hard to do, but that's not necessarily something you need to worry about now. Until you get your agency to 7 to 8 grand a month, you don't need to worry about hiring people and where that's going to come from. You've got bigger problems about where your first client is coming from. You're trying to run before you can walk. Figure out how you can have a business of 7 to 8 grand a month on your own and run it. Then hiring people will come. And if you're in the academy, I can help you with that. I've helped many people in the academy hire their first employee. How do you handle Facebook ad accounts, and does the client pay for the ad spend? Yeah, so every client has their own business manager. Every client has their own ad account under their business manager. The second most watched video on this channel is how to structure your business manager and ad accounts. So all you do is then just give you as a person access to their business manager, and then you can run all of their ads from there. And then, yeah, so your service fee is separate to the ad spend. The client pays the platforms directly, and you just manage the ad spend on their behalf. You never see the ad spend. Are e-com products hard to scale? Yes, because you have to have content. Any e-commerce brand that doesn't produce high quality content or is investing in a creative agency to do UGC content, which is user generated content for their ad creatives, is going to fail. So there's a higher barrier to entry, which is why I say, as a beginner agency, don't launch an e-com agency. Launch a local lead gen agency where you just need to get sales funnels up, bring in leads and help them close, because you can scale that a lot easier as a beginner. To scale an e-commerce brand, you have to have a better understanding of marketing and how to build content that converts. Do you have a team, or is it just you and Tom? No, we have a team. So we have a team of, I don't know now, 7 to 8 people, from socials to copywriting to video editors, 2 accountants, sales funnel guy, Google Ads specialist, sales teams from commission and salary based. So yeah, we've got a small team, but Tom and I still do a massive amount of the service delivery, especially for our high-end clients. Like the clients that we charge 7 to 8 grand a month for, Tom and I are doing that ourselves because they're super important to us. And we also do all of the sales meetings ourselves, which is something I've learned from a lot of agencies earning way more than our agency earns, of like 150 grand a month, is that even at that level, they still do the sales calls. We won't do the sales calls for like the really, I don't want to call them shitty clients, but like the lower end clients, we'll do them only if they're super qualified, which our sales team is fantastic at doing. Is it an absolute must to get Go High Level from the start? No, not that. It is if you're getting a client. Like if you're doing service delivery for anyone, you need Go High Level, but you don't need it unless you're going to use it. Is Lead Gorilla one time or monthly? I believe it's one time, mate. You're going to have to check this because our sales team does all of that. I believe it's one time, and you get only once you go over a certain number of leads, you have to pay. I don't know. You just have to research that. Do you have to create a sub account on Go High Level for your own agency to access the pipeline? I can't find the pipeline in agency view. Yes. Yeah, you do. So you have to basically make a sub account for your agency, and we do all our cold calling and host our booking system, our pipelines under that sub account. So has Facebook ever banned a client's ad account you have worked with, and how do you get around this, especially if it's a new account and they haven't had Facebook before? Good question, mates. Yeah, loads of times. With the amount of times we've launched an ad or we've got access to someone's business manager and they've had their personal advertising rights restricted, their ad account banned, their business manager banned, everything under the sun. And it's your job to get it back. Or if it's like, so what you can do is you can appeal the process with Facebook. You have to do it in a very specific way. Don't appeal before you go to the chat. There's videos in this channel of how to get them back, but alternately, a lot of the time you just have to create a new business manager. So we'll get the business owner's wife, cousin, daughter to create a business manager under their profile, and we just make a new business manager for them and set it up in the correct way. But that's just part and parcel of the process. What to do when the client hasn't got high quality ad creatives? Many different things you can do here is get them to pay for a photographer, get them to pay for a videographer. And if not, they're just gonna, it's kind of like if they don't give you the resources to get good creative, and when you say creative, you just mean photography, because then you can manipulate it to being a good ad creative. You just have to ask them to get it. And if they don't get it, then all you can do is deal with what they've given you, and they're just gonna have to reap the results that content reaps, unfortunately. What would you say is a good ad spend budget for ecom products? This is another one of those questions which is so impossible to ask. It completely depends on the brand, the competition, where you're advertising, what creative you've got. I can't really answer that question. Do your clients have to use GHL, or can you just show them? Really depends on what type of agency you run. If Go High Level is your product and you're just reselling Go High Level, then yeah, you're gonna have to tell them how to use it. We don't. We give them access to Go High Level, but we only give them access to the CRM part of it. They don't get access, and we don't teach them how to do the sales funnels, change the automations, etc. We get them on the onboarding call. We'll run them through how it works, how they manage the conversations, how they text through it, how they email through it, how they call through it, how they do the CRM. So yeah, you will have to train them on how to use the aspects you want them to use. Yeah. Big shout out for you guys being so generous to us. No problem, mate. I'm glad to see the numbers of these calls rising each week. That's exciting. Twino, is it profitable to run ads for a chiropractor? Unsure, both myself and client make money. Yeah, 100% it is. Like, we've done it for chiropractors a few times, and it works really nicely. There's loads of chiropractor agencies that make mega money, so 100%. Right, guys, last few questions, because I've got an academy call to get on in 8 minutes. But if anyone's on this call that's wondering about the academy, guys, I've not spoken about it massively on this call. We're currently doing a Black Friday 40% off until Friday, which is like 40% off. The academy price is ridiculous. It's now $497 instead of $849. So it's over $350 off till Friday. Also, anyone who gets into the academy on Black Friday or previously is going to get automatic enrollment to 3.0 that's coming out on close to the 15th of December, which is the new version of the academy, new videos, new mentorship program. It's the new version of the academy. So if you want to get into 3.0, get in now at a cheaper price, because it's not going to be $849. It's going to be more because of the value and how it's changing. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that the academy is at 40% off for Black Friday till Friday. If you have any questions about the discount or the academy in general, or 3.0 that's coming out, drop me a message on Instagram, or if you have any final questions in here, just ping them in. But I'm going to smash through these final questions, guys. Then I'm going to hop onto the academy call. Sorry for speaking so quick. If there's any academy members on here, this is the usual link in Teachable. I'm going to hop on at 6 o'clock in like 7 minutes. Final few questions, guys. When starting out, what would be a example of a good offer if offering lead generation to start with before moving on to other services? So you can't just do lead generation if you're well, you can, but that encompasses all the services. You have to have paid ads, you have to have sales funnel creation, you have to have email marketing, you have to have the Go High Level automations. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to run a successful lead generation campaign. So that's your offer. You don't need, I'm going to get you 10 clients in the first month for your money back. It's a load of bullshit. Clients see through it. Clients have worked with us specifically because we don't do that. So yeah, just have a good service, portray loads of value, and you don't need a crazy offer. What's up, bro? Just created the offer for my agency and just needed some good points on how to stand out from my offer, as I'm sure standing out is the best way to succeed. Yes, but you don't need to do that with your offer on paper. The best way the easiest way and the most effective way to sign a client is, like you've just said there, is standing out and building a gap between you and the other agencies that don't do a good job. And the only way you can do that, guys, is by them resonating with you as a person and you coming across as ethical and legit. If you're coming across as, I can get you 20 new Invisalign patients at $4,000 each in the first 30 days, or you get your money back. Any business owner that's been around the block for 10 years knows you're just talking shit. Like, that's just pure bullshit. No one can bring you in. Like, no one can bring in guarantee 10 high paying clients in the first month. That's physically impossible to guarantee. What happens if you do that? You bring in leads, and then the people that are ringing them cannot close for the sake of it. Like, there's a process that you have to train these people to contact the leads in the best possible way to close these clients, which is why you can't guarantee that. So the only thing you can guarantee is you're going to give an impeccable service and you actually have a strategy that works. And that's all you need to do. Don't overthink your offer. If someone resonates with you and they trust you, they're going to want to work with you. Right. Do I have to be an expert in the service I offer when starting my agency? Not when you start your agency, but when you're selling your services, absolutely. It's going to be practically impossible for you to sell your service unless you're an expert in your service delivery. And to be an expert doesn't mean you have had to run 20 grand a month Facebook ad campaigns previously. You just need to be educated so you can consult on the service you're selling. Might have been answered before, but what is the recommended cold calls per day for a full-time agency? Between 30 and 50 is very adequate. Our agency does 30 to probably 80 a day, and we closed 10 grand a month in extra reoccurring revenue last month, which is ridiculous. My client has access to a Facebook page but isn't admin. How do I change the email? Unfortunately, you can't. You're gonna have to get access. You're gonna have to find the person who is admin of the page and get your rights on that page changed. If not, I will get you X amount of clients. How do you want me to frame my pitch and come off as a genuine business owner? You don't need, like, you need to have an offer in terms of what you do. But our offer for the agency is we help you. We become your full stack marketing team to generate you consistent clients within a 6-month period. That's not giving any time frame. Not time frame. It's not giving them the exact amount of clients they have to see, because you're never going to do it. Whatever your offer is, you need to make sure you're 100% sure that what you're saying is going to become true. Otherwise, you're going to lose all credibility. So when doing cold calling, do you use your personal phone number? Yeah, or you can buy a phone number through Go High Level and do all your calls through Go High Level. Where do you find new leads? Places like Lead Gorilla, LinkedIn, Google, D7 Lead Finder, all good lead sourcing services. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. That's like close to an hour there. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, guys. Going to continue doing this every single Monday at 5 p.m. Hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, the Academy is 40% off. So if you have any questions on it whatsoever, guys, get in at the discount, and then you get free enrollment to 3.0 when it comes out in December. Yeah, hope you all enjoyed, guys. Let me know if you have any more questions on Instagram. If not, I will see you next week on Monday. Thank you all for showing up, and any Academy members, live call in 3 minutes. See you there. Cheers, guys.